Hi, Chiro Up subscribers. My name is Sarah with Chiro Up, and today I want to share one of the simplest, most powerful ways to set the tone for your week. It's a 5-minute meeting on Monday that actually works. This tiny routine can dramatically change and boost team alignment, focus, and energy without adding another task to your already full plate. So, as you guys know, the best chiropractic clinics will feel a little bit chaotic on a Monday morning. You've got patient schedules to manage, last-minute cancellations, team updates, a waiting room full of people before 9 a.m. Your team is ready to go. But if everyone is not aligned on priorities from the start, the week can quickly turn reactive instead of proactively intentional. So that is where a short, focused Monday touch point comes in. 5 minutes to ground your team, clarify the plan, and set the tone for success for that week. So something that was interesting is we recently did a focus group with some of the top performing clinicians in our profession. These clinics are generating over $1 million a year in revenue per location. And one thing that every single one of them had in common is that they dedicate one entire day of the week to staff training and team development. Think about that. That is coming from the most successful clinics, the ones that are growing and scaling and retaining patients. They are making space every single week to invest in their team. Now, I know what you're thinking. How is that possible? Taking an entire day may not seem feasible for you right now, or for many clinics in general. But here's the good news. You can start small. And that's where a 5-minute Monday Connect can be your first step to building that same culture of alignment and excellence that these other clinics are showing. So, why 5-minute works in a clinical setting? In a fast-paced medical environment, timing is everything. We can't afford these long, drawn-out meetings, but you also can't afford misalignment. And so this is where the 5-minute framework kind of comes into play. By spending the first part of the meeting by talking through a quick win from last week, this could be a patient success, a review, or something that went well, it sets the meeting off in a positive tone, and it gets the conversation starting. Once you start off with that positive recap, now is where you move forward to highlighting one of your top priorities for this week. It could be hitting a certain amount of patient goals. It could be improving a flow. It could be implementing a new strategy that you talked about. That's a really, really great way to make sure that maybe last week you guys focused on wanting to work on tone when answering the telephone. This is where you guys can really put that into practice. And then the last part of the meeting should be to identify any blockers or problem areas as to what is going to get in the way of making that priority happen. As always, you want to make sure that you end it strong with a line like, all right, team, let's own this week. No tangents, no micromanaging, just focus and forward momentum. So a couple of tips to making it stick. Most importantly, have it at the same time every Monday. This could be before the patient arrives. This could be during or before your lunch breaks. But making sure that there's a consistent time is going to really allow everyone to buy in. The next tip is to keep it standing. I mean, literally standing up. Standing meetings naturally will stay short and upbeat as opposed to gathering around a table. Another tip that I love is to use a whiteboard or a simple dashboard to display your weekly wins and focus points. This will it'll kind of allow for a reminder for your team that throughout the week, if they want to know what was the focus this week, it's going to continually remind them of that. And then lastly, you want to make sure that, as always, we're ending the meeting with a one-sentence rallying call that ties back to your mission, reminding people, here's why we're doing this together. Consistency is key. The first few are probably going to feel a little clunky, but I can promise you by week 4, your team is going to look forward to it. So here's what happens when you implement this simple 5-minute habit. First, your team is going to start the week clear, confident, and connected. You're also going to experience fewer surprises midweek because the issues got surfaced early on. Again, we're all focused on being proactive instead of reactive. This is also going to create a stronger, more cohesive culture that patients are going to feel when they walk in. So think about that. When your team is more aligned, that's actually going to create a better environment for your patients. And as we know that when patients have better experiences, they have higher performance and better outcomes, and that all can be stimulated by your team being aligned around what matters most, which again is covered in that 5-minute Connect. So here's your challenge. Next Monday morning, grab your team before your first patient arrives and try your first 5-minute win of the week huddle. Stick to the structure. It's a small change, but it's the kind of intentional communication that those $1 million clinics have built into their culture and that you can too. The best weeks do not happen by accident. They are won on purpose, one Monday at a time.